A very good morning to you all and a warm welcome to Deepwater Baptist Church online. Well, the Christmas lights are up in Hayes now, Christmas adverts are on the TV, and the Black Friday sales have started. All very clear signs that Christmas is coming. In the church, we call this season Advent. The name Advent comes from a Latin word, adventus, which means coming. It's a time of preparation as we get ready to celebrate the coming of Jesus, the Son of God, who came to live among us. To mark the weeks in Advent, we usually have an Advent wreath in church. There are 4 Sundays now left before Christmas Day, and so we have a red candle for each Sunday. They represent hope, love, joy, and peace. There's also a white candle in the centre that we light on Christmas Day. This candle represents Jesus, the light of the world. So today, as it's the first Sunday in Advent, we light the first candle, the candle of hope. We've all needed hope this year, haven't we? We've all been hoping for an end to the coronavirus. We've been hoping that a vaccine would be developed, and we've been hoping that we'll be able to see our loved ones again. It's been a very difficult year, and things are still difficult right now, aren't they? But recently we've had a message of hope when the news was announced that a vaccine had been developed. And since then, we've had more good news of other vaccines. And all this has given us hope that there will be an end to this virus. Right now, those times are still hard. But there is a light on the horizon. Hope is coming. In the Old Testament, the prophets gave messages of hope. There was a prophet called Isaiah, and he predicted hard times for God's people Israel. See, Israel had a habit of ignoring God and doing their own thing. They were a little arrogant at times, and they saw themselves as a mighty tree that could never be uprooted. But Isaiah predicted that this tree would be cut down to size. There's a kind of prophetic riddle in the book of Isaiah, and it goes something like this. Isaiah says, "A shoot will come from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord." This is a strange prophecy for the people of Israel. What did it mean? Isaiah says the stump of Jesse. So Isaiah seems to be predicting that this mighty tree of Israel will be cut down and will become just a stump. As I said, the people of Israel had tried to do things their own way instead of listening to God. So Isaiah is saying that God would allow their enemies to cut them down to size. And that's exactly what happened. In around 600 BC, the Israelites were taken over by the Babylonians. So it's not good news, is it? It doesn't appear that way. But there is hope in this message. There is good news. Isaiah says the tree will grow again. Out of the stump, a new branch will grow. And notice that Isaiah refers to this new branch as he. This is a person that Isaiah is talking about. And the stump is the stump of Jesse. Well, Jesse is also a person. He was the king of Israel and the father of David. So this prophecy is that from that root of David, from the line of David, would come a new hope. So the people of Israel looked forward to the coming hope, the person that they called the Messiah, the person who would make them right with God again. A few pages before this, Isaiah says, "The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned." So again, a message of hope. Isaiah is predicting that times will get hard for God's people. The people of Israel have some dark times ahead of them. And Isaiah says there is a hope. A great light is coming. A new day is beginning. And Isaiah then says something remarkable, verses that we often use at Christmas. This new day, this light of hope, isn't going to come from a mighty warrior who will overthrow the Babylonians. God's quite capable of doing that. But God has a much bigger plan, to turn the hearts of all people everywhere back to him, for the whole world to be saved from darkness and to see the light of hope. And that hope, says Isaiah, will not come through a warrior king, but through a small child. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. That child, of course, is Jesus. And as we will see in the coming weeks, Jesus didn't come just to bring hope for the Israelites, but Jesus came to bring hope for us all, that all of us can be right with God again. There's a very simple way that I like to try and remember this. You see, if I'm honest, am I really any different to the Israelites? I often try to do things my own way too, instead of listening to God. So in terms of being the person that God created me to be, I often feel a bit hopeless. But all we need to do to turn things around is to give our less to God. See, Jesus came to take our less and to give us hope. The writer of Hebrews puts it like this. He says, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain where Jesus, who went before us, has entered on our behalf. He has become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. Now I know that's a little hard to understand, but what the writer of Hebrews is saying is that because of Jesus, we no longer need to be separated from God. Through Jesus, we have direct access to God. In fact, we have an invitation to be part of his family. For Christmas this year, the government have allowed households to form a family bubble. But through Jesus, you have an invitation to be part of God's family bubble. John says, yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. So if you felt far away from God recently, there's an invitation this Christmas to turn back to God and to be part of his family this Christmas. Give him your less and let God give you the light of hope this Christmas. May God bless you all. Amen.